had a conversation last week that a bride-to-be wanted to buy her groom-to-be, and she had $1,000. And I said, yeah, you know, we'll figure it out for you, for sure. This Chinese Melissa thing, watch, has a battery. Omega Seamaster that I just showed you. Timepiece. What's the difference? Battery, automatic movement. I like to party. All right, guys, what's up? Another vlog for you. Today we're going to talk about helping a first-time watch buyer pick their watch, and I'm gonna walk you through different ways that we help first-time buyers, and maybe it could be helpful for you if you're shopping for your first watch, or interested in your first watch, or going to be getting your first watch. Better said, timepiece, by the way. That's my mistake. So I'm going to attempt to help you through that, through some like anecdotal stories and how we do things. Prior to that, I just want to show that I'm actually not wearing a timepiece today. It's a little weird for me. I had an AP Royal Oak on earlier today, but I took it off to wash dishes. I'm a little weird when it comes to watches. There are certain things I do not do with watches on that most people do, and then there are certain things that I do with watches on that most people don't. For instance, I'll wear an Audemars to the gym and work out. Most people wouldn't. I'll take my Audemars off to wash dishes, but most people will keep their timepiece on. Yeah, so no watch today. What do I have here? Just in hand and arm sight. I have this. It's a little weird. It takes 2.5 hours to program. What kind of watch is this, Paula?
Tissot.
Tissot. I have this Chinese thing. I don't even know.
Melissa.
Yeah, Melissa. And this thing's pretty cool, actually. This thing's actually pretty cool. This is a 1974 Omega Speedy. This is like the original generation that has been to the moon. Not this watch, but this generation. Pretty cool. Doesn't carry a lot of value, but you don't really see a lot of like vintage Omegas, let alone we don't really get a lot of vintage pieces. So yeah, we're gonna get this thing fixed up and then we're gonna sell it. And then the client wants another watch. So that's what I got on hand right here. So let's talk about shopping for your first timepiece, okay? Well, first things first, they're called timepieces, not watches. Watches have batteries. This is a watch. Oh, this Chinese Melissa thing, watch, has a battery. Omega Seamaster that I just showed you, timepiece. What's the difference? Battery, automatic movement. You take the timepiece off, it stops moving. You take the watch off, it keeps moving. Time stops when movement stops with timepieces. So first things first, knowing that, you'll look more like a pro, unlike the guy shooting a vlog saying watches. That's been in the industry for almost a decade. So I just like to make fun of myself is really what it comes down to. But so when it comes to shopping for your first timepiece, what are some things to consider? All right. Well, first things first, realistically, you have to understand your budget. And for first timepieces, we've worked with people with budgets all over the place. We're talking $1,000 to $2,000 to $50,000 to $100,000. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, right? Please understand that even if you buy a $4,000 Tudor or Omega or Breitling to start, that is no less important than a $50,000 Rolex or Audemars Piguet to start. For instance, shout out to Brody. I know he watches this channel. He bought his first timepiece from us recently. He spent about $4,000 on a Tudor. And I was having a conversation with him after he bought it. You know, we figured out his budget. We figured out what he likes. We figured out the color schemes, right? So budget and color schemes were really important to him. And, you know, he was getting a little down on himself because it's a lower price point timepiece. And I was like, hey man, listen to me. All right. Your Tudor is just as cool and just as important as someone that is buying a $50,000 Rolex to start for their first timepiece. Why? Because it's less about the brand and it's more about the achievement. Including myself, buying our first timepieces is a huge achievement or milestone for people. I bought a Breitling Chronomat, got ripped off by a Breitling AD. Terrible. Right? But it was a huge achievement. I didn't even wear it out of the house for the first month. I was so embarrassed because I didn't come for money. I never had any money. I didn't really start making money until like early 30s. And that's when I bought it. The story about the timepiece is going to be more important than the brand. Okay? So don't get hung up on like, well, I really want a Rolex, but I can afford a Breitling. Like, it doesn't matter. So the first thing you need to do is you got to figure out your budget. All right. A lot of people that come to us for first time timepieces, their budget's what? Usually about $5,000, 4 or 5 grand. Yeah. Yeah, 4 or 5 grand is like usual. I had a conversation last week that a bride to be wanted to buy her groom to be, and she had $1,000. And I said, yeah, you know, we'll figure it out for you for sure. But then again, it doesn't matter what the budget is. So outside of the budget, just understand the first thing to do is figure out your budget, and it doesn't matter if it's less expensive than what you think it should be, okay? It's just our egos that get in the way, or insecurities, or both. Second thing is you should really figure out what colors you like. So for instance, Brody, who we were just talking about, he really liked that the Tudor had a red bezel and a black dial because it matched his Ranger scroll that he wore on both arms when he was in the Army, red and black. So for me, my first timepiece was a blue dial. I like blue. Blue is my favorite color. My budget was $10,000 at the time, and I wanted a blue dial, and I wanted white subdials. So I got a blue dial with white subdials. I regret selling that timepiece, but budget, color, right? Next, I would kind of push towards brand. Well, okay, we got your budget, we got the color, what brand will fit? So if we're looking at like $1,000 to $2,000, we're looking at Seiko, Oris, maybe an Omega. If we're looking at $3,000 to $5,000, we're looking at all of those, primarily Omega, Breitling, maybe even a Rolex, Hublot, some off brands in between, but those are the major. If we're looking at $10,000, it really opens up options. You know, you can get into a Rolex Submariner, you get into nice Omegas, nice Breitlings, decent Hublots if you guys like that brand, Frank Mueller, JLC, Panerai. You know, you get into Panerai around $5,000 too, you know, give or take. And it's really just a matter of figuring out what brand works well with you. Like a lot of people like Rolex because it's the most recognizable brand on the face of the earth. And it has a lot of like clout with it. And there's nothing wrong with the Rolex. You know, if you're sub $5,000, I think Omega is your best option. $10,000 Omega Rolex. If you're gonna get into, let me back up, $1,000 to $2,000 Oris, you know, $3,000 to $5,000 Omega, $10,000 Omega Rolex, okay? 20,000, let's say 20 to 50,000. Okay, 20 to 50,000. I would say Audemars Piguet, 100%. Rolex, maybe a Patek or a Lang if you can find it. 50 to 100, all of those. Lang, JLC, Rolex, Audemars, Patek, Vacheron. You can get Vacheron around 20 as well. Vacheron Constantine and FP Journe. You could find FPs under 100. But it doesn't matter what the brand is. It matters that you figure out what's best for you as a first-time buyer. So budget, color, brand. That's what we do with our clients. It works really well. Let me know if this was helpful, guys. We're changing up the content a little bit here on this channel with different ideas. We brought on a new team member, Mary Joy, and she is managing everything and telling us what to do. So super helpful. I'm super excited about it. And she said, Chris, record these topics. So tell me if you like these things. Please let us know in the comments. It's good feedback, okay? Until next time, guys. Peace.